Hello students, I hope you all are fine. So, our today topic is Roman number. So, today we will learn about how to write the Roman number. Students, generally in our maths, we use 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 and so on, which is in Hindu Arabic numbers. In the Roman numbers, we use 7 letters which is from the Latin alphabet. The 7 numbers are I, V, X, L, C, D and M. So these Roman numbers equals to in Hindu Arabic numbers, I is for 1, V is for 5, X is for 10, L is for 50, C is for 100, D is for 500 and M is for 1000. So these are the 7 letters which is only used in Roman number system. So now there are some rules to write the Roman numbers. First of all, the first rule is repetition of numbers means addition, while I, X, C and M can be repeated only 3 times and V, L and D cannot be repeated. So again, the repetition of numbers means addition. So here, if I write I and I, this is double I, which means 2. Here it is X and X, that is 10 plus 10 equals to 20. Here we write I, which is 1 plus 1 plus 1 equals to 3. Here X equals to 30. How? It is 10 plus 10 plus 10, which is equals to 30. Similarly, double M means 2000, which is 1000 plus 1000. So the thing is that we use these numbers like X only up to the 3 times. We can't write as X and X, which is equals to 40, but this is wrong. We repeated X only up to the 3 times. Right students? The next thing is that we cannot write V, L and D 2 or 3 times because it cannot be repeated. Like if we write V and V, this is totally wrong. We cannot repeat it V, L and D. Now the second rule is a smaller number written to the right of a number of a greater value means addition, which means if a smaller number is on right hand side and the greater number is on the left hand side, it means addition. For example, like VI, which means V stands for 5 and I stands for 1. So here VI means 5 plus 1, that is 6. Now again, if I write X, X means 10, I means 3. So it is 10 plus 3 equals to 30. Right students? Again, I write L and X. L means 50 and X means 10. So 50 plus 10 equals to 60. So if I write CCL, here C is 100, again C is 100 and L stands for the 50. So what it become? 100 plus 100 plus 50 equals to 250. Right? Okay student, here I write X and V, which is equals to 15. Now see here, V is the smaller number and it is written on the right hand side, and X is the greater number which is right on the left hand side. So according to our rule, a smaller number written to the right of a number of a greater value means addition. So here our smaller number is written on the right hand side and the greater number is written on the left hand side. So it means addition, that is 10 plus 5 equals to 15. Right, students? So students, the third rule is, if a smaller number written to the left of a number of a greatest value, a smaller number written to the left of a number of a greater value means subtraction from the number placed after it. Right, students? If any smaller number is on left hand side and the greater number is on right hand side, it means the left hand side number is subtracted from the right hand side number. Right. For example, this is I and V. Here I is smaller than V. So we write here 5 minus 1, which is equals to 4. For the next example, like I and X. So here X is 10 and I is equals to 1. So here a smaller number written to the left of a number of a greatest value means subtraction. So here again we subtract 1 from the 10. 1 from the 10, which is equals to 9. The next number is X and L. So here L is also greater than the X because the value of X is 50 and the value of, so the next number is X and L. So here L is equals to 50 and X equals to 10. So X is less than L. So we write L equals to 50 minus 10 equals to 40, because the smaller number is written on the left hand side and the greatest number is written on the right hand side. So we subtract X from the L, that is 50 minus 10 equals to 40. Again X and C. Here also X is smaller than C. The value of C is equals to 100 and X is equals to 10, we know. So here X minus C means 100 minus 10 equals to 90. Again CD. So what is the value of C, bache? Here value of C is 500. Here the value of C is 100 and the value of D is 500. So again bache, smaller number is on left hand side and the greater number is on right hand side. So according to the rule, we subtract 100 from the 500, which is equals to 400. So now our last rule is, that is rule number 4. When a smaller number is placed between the two numbers of a greater value. Again bache, when a smaller number is placed between the two numbers of a greater value, it is subtracted from the number placed after it. Right, students? When a smaller number is placed between the two numbers, right? Like here X, I, X. When a smaller number is placed between the two numbers of a greater value, here X and X is greater and I is the smaller, so it is subtracted from the number placed after it. So here students, I is subtracted from the X, so we can also write as X and IX. So to understand, we split this, like we underline X and IX. Here what is the value of X? That is 10 plus and bracket open, that is 10 minus 1 equals to 10 plus 9 equals to 19. So here x and x is greater and I is the smaller number. So let's do another example like L, I, X. So L is greater, X is greater and 1 is the smaller number. So here firstly we write L, that is 50, and we subtract I from the 10 because the smaller number is subtracted from the number placed after it. Okay, after 1 here it is the 10. So here we write 50 plus 10 minus 1. 10 minus 1, 9. So 50 plus 9 equals to 59. So here it is X, X, I, V. So here again X and V is greater than the I. So here what is XX? It is equals to the 20 because X is 10, X is 10. So here it is equals to 20 and the smaller number is subtracted from the number placed after it. So here again 1 is subtracted from the 5. So here we write XX equals to 20 and IV equals to 5 minus 1, that is equals to 20 plus 4 equals to 24. So now the next example is CXIV. Here see again the smaller number is between the two greater number. So here what is the value of C? It is 100. What is the value of X? It is 10. So again 1V. So 5 minus 1 equals to 4. This is C 100 X 10 IV equals to 4. So what it become? 100 plus 10 plus 4 equals to 14. So the next example is DIX. So here D is equals to 500, I equals to 1 and X 10. So here बच्चे we write firstly 500 which is the value of D and again IX means 10 minus 1 because according to our rule number 3, if a smaller number is on left hand side and the greater number is on right hand side, we subtract the smaller number from the greatest number, which is equals to 10 minus 1 equals to 9. So what it become? 500 plus 9 equals to 509. Right? So students, in the last there are some points which are very important when we write the Roman numbers. The first point is that I can only be subtracted from the V and X. Again, I can only be subtracted from the V and X. Like if I write I V, what it is? It is 5 minus 1 equals to 4. Right students? And if I write I and X, it is equals to 10 minus 1 equals to 9. So it is 9 and it is 4. We can't write like I C. So this is totally wrong. We can only subtract I from the V and X. Right students? So again X can only be subtracted from the L and C. Like XL, which is equals to L is 50 and X is 10. So here 50 minus 10 equals to 40. And if I write XC, which is equals to 90 because C is 100 and X is 10. So it is 100 minus 10 equals to 90. The next rule is that C can only be subtracted from D and M. So here C is 100, D is 500 and M is 1000. So we write CD, which is equals to 500 minus 100 equals to 400 and C and M, which is equals to 1000 minus 100 equals to 900. Right, students? So in the last, V, L and D are never be subtracted. Right? V, which is 5, L, which is 50, D, which is 500, are never be subtracted. Like students, here V is 5, L is 500, L is 50 and D is 500. So students, the number which start from the digit 5, they can never be subtracted from the any number. Right, students? So again, I can only be subtracted from the V and X, which is after the I. So X can only be subtracted from the L and C. X is 10, L and C is 50 and 100, and C can only be subtracted from the D and M. C is 100, D is 500 and M is 1000. Right, students? So students, in today's video, we learn how to write Roman numbers. Thank you. Have a nice day, students.